pumpkin spice waffles. Delicious, amazing, and pancakes too. My kiddo absolutely loved both of these, and he wanted to make more and more of them. Hi, I'm Meg. Welcome to Plant Fit Meg. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm an online health and fitness coach, and on this channel, I like to share plant-based recipes, healthy lifestyle tips, and what has worked well for me and for my clients in losing weight, getting fit, getting healthier, and changing our lifestyles. So if that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing to the channel below. I'd love to have you join the Plant Fit Meg community. Subscribing is free, and I really appreciate it. Today we're diving into another high-protein vegan recipe. I'm really excited about this one. This is another recipe that I've proteinified. So I have an older recipe that we would use pumpkin spice waffles. Delicious, amazing, and pancakes too. And it's a great recipe, and I found a way to up the protein content, and I'm really excited to share it with you today. I also do a little experiment with this recipe to see if I can make some little mini muffins and little breakfast bites, like almost cookie style bites. And so we will see how that goes. Stay tuned. Let's jump right into it. You can cook along with me or just hang out with me while I make this delicious recipe. Okay, here are all the ingredients we'll need for this recipe. I have oats, vital wheat gluten, also known as gluten flour, pumpkin puree, 1 banana, a really ripe one, soy milk, baking powder, pumpkin pie spice, cinnamon, and vanilla extract. The first thing I'm going to do is set up my Cuisinart griddler to warm up. So I set it to the griddle setting with the waffle plates in it at 375. For this recipe, I'm going to be using my food processor. It's the KitchenAid 11-cup food processor. You don't need a food processor for this recipe. You can also blitz the oats in a blender or buy oat flour for the recipe, mash your banana, and mix everything in a bowl. Either way, the recipe turns out really well. With the food processor, I will say you need to be a little bit more careful about not over mixing because gluten can get a little bit gummy, especially with the pancakes. So that's just something to be aware of. I'm adding 2 cups of oats to my food processor. I do recommend blitzing them first and then adding the remaining ingredients and mixing it together. But this time around, I just did a dump and go situation, and that works too. So 2 cups of oats, 1 cup of vital wheat gluten, 1 banana that I just broke up into chunks, 1 cup of pumpkin puree, 1 cup of soy milk, 1 teaspoon each of baking powder and pumpkin pie spice, half a teaspoon of cinnamon. You could also just add an extra half teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice or another spice that you enjoy. I just really love cinnamon, so I like that little bit extra. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1 cup of water. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on here, make sure it's nice and secure, and set it on high for about 1 minute. I would say under a minute really, because we don't want to overmix it. Because I didn't blitz the oats first, it will still look a little bit clumpy. There will still be kind of chunks of oats in it. If you don't want that, just blitz the oats first before adding the remaining ingredients and mixing, and it will create a smoother batter. Choose your own adventure here. Either way, it works. So this is what the mixture looks like when it's all done. My grill is preheated, so I'm going to go ahead and use this cookie scoop, ice cream scoop, whatever it is. I love using these. I use them for burgers and other recipes as well. You've probably seen me use them on the channel if you've been here for a while. I just find them really handy, but you can of course just use a spoon or a measuring cup or something like that as well. If your device is not non-stick, you might need to use a cooking oil or cooking spray. I'm going to go ahead and scoop the batter onto the waffle plates and make sure that I'm completely covering each rectangle. As you can see, I actually scooped onto the lid here by mistake instead of scooping onto the base. Not to worry, it's all going to work out, but better to scoop onto the base and then just close the lid. I'm going to let them cook for about 8 to 12 minutes. I'm going to try to gently lift the lid once the timer goes off. If it's still sticking really badly, I will let them cook just another couple of minutes until the lid is easier to lift up. Usually it is about 10 minutes with our appliance here. And this is what they look like. Lovely, golden, that orangey pumpkin spice vibe. I really wish I could share them with you, but The best I can do is share the recipe and you can give it a try for yourself. I'll leave links for the Cuisinart griddler and the KitchenAid food processor in the description box below in case you're interested in checking them out. They are Amazon affiliate links, but of course, shop around, check locally, see if you can find a good deal somewhere. I really love both of these appliances, so that's why I'm sharing them here. Marsh is helping me out with this second batch and just doing the exact same process. Scooping the batter into the waffle plates, closing the lid, waiting about 10 minutes, allowing them to cook, and there we go. Easy as that, done, ready to enjoy. And as I'm cooking, I actually have the oven going at a really low temperature, around 200 degrees or so, just to keep them warm as I'm going through and cooking these up. We love to top our waffles with syrup of some kind, so whether it's a maple syrup or a date syrup, a sugar-free syrup, all awesome options. With pancakes, we're going to use the exact same mixture. You can add a little bit of extra water if you're finding that it's too thick, or as you go, if the mixture starts to thicken up, definitely add water and just give it a quick mix again. And I'm allowing the pancakes to cook until the edges are starting to brown a little bit and the surface of the pancake is getting dry. That's how you know you're ready for the flip. It's usually about 5 minutes per side. This recipe makes a ton of pancakes. It is great for batch cooking. They freeze really well. And as I'm cooking, I actually have the oven going at a really low temperature, around 200 degrees or so, just to keep them warm as I'm going through and cooking these up. So with some fruit, this time we have some blueberries. Really delicious combination. If you want a pancake recipe that is a little bit easier in terms of not having to do any flipping or anything like that, you can check out our high protein sheet pan pancake recipe. I'll link it in the cards and in the description box below in case you're interested in checking that out. Next up, I wanted to do a little bit of an experiment with this recipe and see if it could be even more versatile using the exact same mixture, made the exact same way. I tried to make mini muffins and breakfast bites. I preheated my oven to 350 degrees, and using my small scoop, I went ahead and scooped the batter into this little mini muffin tray. I left half of the mini muffins plain, and my kiddo and I put chocolate chips on top of the other half. And then we also tried to make some breakfast bites, and we came up with about 21 breakfast bites. We left some plain, and then we also decided to use some dried fruit as well as chocolate chips to decorate and add a little bit of extra flavor. So we used raisins, golden raisins, dried cherries, and of course chocolate chips. We baked the mini muffins and breakfast bites for about 35 minutes. Until a toothpick came clean and the bottom of the breakfast bites were browned slightly. My kiddo absolutely loved both of these, and he wanted to make more and more of them. My personal preference was the mini muffin version. I thought the breakfast bites maybe needed a little tweaking with the recipe in terms of perhaps using a little bit less liquid because they turned out softer than I would have preferred. But they did both turn out. I wouldn't say they're a fully fleshed out recipe and perfected quite yet, but you could definitely give them a go and see what you think. They were more of an experiment to see what I could do with this recipe and if I could make other things using the exact same mixture. So it was really fun to experiment and play around with, and I was pleased with how they turned out. My partner Marsh really enjoyed both of these too, so that's always great when I get nice feedback from my family because they are definitely very honest with me about my cooking and baking. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I will have the free printable recipe linked below in the description box, so check that out. I love getting creative in the kitchen and trying new things, so let me know what your favorite recipes have been lately for the winter season, for the fall, for the holidays. I would love to hear what you've been making and what you've been loving lately. Let me know if you give this recipe a try and what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!